So when I first started creating videos for YouTube, I struggled to sit down and actually start recording videos. But the underlying fear in it was, what are people going to think? Am I going to be judged? Am I going to be criticized? And in today's video, if you're like me and you have fears of these concerns, that's kind of underlying stopping you from actually moving forward. In today's video, I'm going to go into a few things to look at, start shifting in yourself so that you can actually create these things, have a voice, and be out there, be seen, and no longer care or be affected by what other people think. So thank you for joining me. I'm AmyC with You Finding You. I'm an intuitive and transformational coach. And I help you look within, step into, and connect deeper within yourself and start to actually live the life of your dreams, really stepping into and being that person that you really truly want to be. So continuing the series of us looking externally outside of ourselves for validation, for approval, for defining who we are, in today's video I want to go into this idea of being criticized and this idea of fears around being judged, criticized by actually being out there, by actually exposing ourselves, being seen by others, and being able to step into a place and shift those fears into a place where you're no longer affected by what others think and you no longer care or worry about being criticized or judged. So in the previous video, I talked about and I shared this idea that I had so much fears or so many concerns of I had to be liked. Like I really wanted people to like me, and so I would word things in a way that I wouldn't be disliked. So this idea also kind of goes into being judged and criticized. And how does being judged and criticized, it's kind of on a similar path, but in a little slightly different way. And what I want to look at then is this idea of being judged or criticized. If you, let me ask you this question, if you come from a place of love, compassion, kindness, you actually letting go of judgments of others and you see and accept them for where they are, and you're really coming from that place of love, who are you? Like, what is your worth? And the reason I ask this, what is your worth? Because being criticized, being judged, for me, always meant that I then was not liked. I then was not the person that was well received, and I wouldn't belong or I wouldn't fit in. So I always feared this idea of being criticized, being judged, because then I wouldn't belong or then I wouldn't be liked. And as well, it defined my worth, like who I am. So if these people don't accept me and like me, then I have no worth. If these people don't like what I'm saying and they're against me and don't like my opinion, then I'm not fitting in with what everyone else wants. And what am I going to do then? Like my worth was so tied into this idea of belonging, of acceptance, of, having everyone around me define me. So shifting that into, again, looking at this idea, if you're coming from a place of love, compassion, being real, genuine, and authentic in yourself, but also accepting of those around you and seeing and just being like, yes, I see you. And I see, maybe we see things differently. But when I come from that place within me, it's like, oh, I am love. Like I am coming from that place. I am accepting of others and I see them for them. So if someone comes at me with criticism or judgments, that's their storyline, that's who they are, and they see things differently than me. But I know in my core, in myself, I am coming from love. I am coming from this place of, I want to be genuine, real, compassionate. So looking at it that way, rather than I'm defining my worth by these things outside of me. But then also looking at these concerns or fears around being criticized, around being judged. What if you actually had some conflict? And like that's another fear that is coming up with interactions with people. I fear having this conflict. And again, the conflict is being that if someone is coming at me in a certain way, I'm not going to be well received. I'm not going to be liked. I'm not going to be part of the group. So an example is one of the videos I did previously. I was talking about when I left one of my exes, when I finally was so broken down, I left him. And I shared that story to, be able to say that you can get out of these really difficult situations and your life will end up better for it. But in sharing that, someone then commented of, oh, it's easier to leave. And I was sitting there going, wow, I was broken. Like I felt so horrible in this situation and I stuck around in it, trying to fix it for so long, trying to make it better. But I couldn't do anything else. It had to be on my ex's side. He actually had to do the work, to make things better for himself. I couldn't fix him. So in this comment of it's easier to leave, I was like, wow, how do I even reply back to this? And I just didn't know what to do, partly because I was so afraid of getting into conflict with this person in messaging, like I was like, no, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to reply back to this. So what I want to do here is look at this idea of what if you come from love. So you step back, like this person puts the comment and it triggered something in me of the fear of conflict, but it also brought up of, wow, this was so not easy to leave. So how do I reply back saying that neither side is easier in this case? I don't know. But if I step back from my own reaction to that and then calm myself and get into a place of kind of like a neutral place for me, then be able to say, oh, what would love do? In this case, what would love do? And if I think of, for this example, it's like, what would love do? Oh, I can see that this person probably has been left and been hurt by it. And so it's like, okay, for them, that's where they're coming from. They're not coming from, oh, I see that you've been through a lot yourself, like, no, they're coming from it from their own story and the thing they've been through. But if I ask, what would love do? So it's shifting around this idea and fear of being in conflict with someone to connecting into myself, really connecting in. And first, you do have to process your own feelings and emotions, but then being able to get into a place of being able to say, how would love reply back to this? How would I, in a loving place, reply back to this? So, couple things here throughout this is one, looking at your worth. Your worth is coming from within you, not from what other people think about you or say about you. And then as well, what would love do? Stepping into a place in yourself, being able to first process your own emotions and things, taking a step back, but then what would love do? So really being able to shift, no longer worrying about what others say, think, no longer being affected by it, because you know your worth from within you and you know that you are coming from a place of love. So thank you guys for joining me today. If you are enjoying and getting value out of these videos, do hit that like, share, and subscribe. And thank you again. I'll see you in the next video.